Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and is another evening. I have a leader here with me. Mwesha, habari ya jioni.
Mzuri.
Uko salama?
Niko salama. Asalamu alaykum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Asante sana. Kisumu inaendelea vipi?
Kisumu tuko.
Mm.
Tunashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu.
Mm-hmm.
But they have been unwell from that time tulikuwa na ile interview ya COVID.
Pole.
But sasa nimepona.
Okay. We kawaida, we pia ni mtu ambaye amependa kusikiza mziki ama we si mtu wa kusikiliza mziki sana?
Mimi ni mtu wa kusikiliza mziki, but it depends ni mziki aina gani.
Okay, endelea.
Nimesema it depends. Napenda I like listening to music. But it is not your conventional music that most people listen to.
Okay.
Mimi, I'm a hardcore fan of old school music. That would be R&B. And old school hardcore rap, 2000. When music was raw and poetic.
When maybe those days, like when you talk of rap, you talk of people like Tupac Shakur.
My top 5.
Yeah.
This Street Philosopher. Tupac Amaru Shakur. Notorious B.I.G. Big. There's DMX. There is the female one, my female favorite rapper of all time, Lil Kim. Then throw in Mary J. Blige.
Okay. Lakini sasa kwa nini nimekuuliza hivyo? Tukikuja Kenya, kuna wimbo ambao imeimbwa na Mkenya Eric Wanaina, ama si Eric Wanaina ameimba, na kuna pia Juliani anaimba niko tayari kulipa gharama simama maovu ya kitawala. So we kama kiongozi, ukisikia wimbo kama mtu amesema niko tayari kulipa gharama, sitasimama maovu ya kitawala, we kama kiongozi, we unaitafsiri aje?
But actually, I thought you were asking me the kind of music nasikia in my free time. Huh?
Yeah.
But ukiongea about such music, you know, those are revolutionary music. So things like Eric Wainaina, those are people who have made revolutionary music, like Bob Marley and Lucky Dube. Yes. And I listen to even Anguka Nayo, thanks to the Gen Zs. And I think hii wimbo ya niko tayari kulipa gharama. I think it is one of the most sentimental songs that plays in Kenya currently. And I say it is sentimental because the content, sio mziki ya raha. It talks about Kenyans deciding that whatever comes, we are ready to take it, bad or good, for the sake of change.
Okay.
That is why they say tuko tayari kulipa
gharama, sitasimama maovu ya kitawala.
Exactly.
Nimekuuliza hivyo kwa sababu we ni kiongozi na unajua kama nyinyi mko katika uongozini, saa zingine inakuwa ni ngumu sana sana kuelewa baadhi wenyu, unaniwa baadhi ya viongozi, so watu wakiimba hivyo. Na leo kuna vitu mingi tu, there's so many things that have really happened, and we will discuss with you. We had today the High Court really suspended the decision by the Supreme Court to impeach the Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza that is there. We also had yesterday the prime suspect of Kawangware, the quarry dump site, the main suspect, the prison break, he went. So many things. And we also have today Baba launched his face of the campaign team that is going to campaign for his bid for USC by August 2027. So those are there. Apart from that, also we have this fallout between ODM and Azimio also is here. We also have so we have quite a lot to discuss today. So maybe
also put in the roles of nominated leaders.
The roles of nominated.
I think there's need.
Yeah.
Yes, it's important to throw it there.
Oh, okay, no problem. I'll do that. The role of nominated leaders, okay, but I'll join them. So, if you look at what happened, maybe over the overview of the impeachment, where it has been suspended for a while, and also the prime suspect just um, prison breaking. This is a very sensitive case, and like just prison break, like without the officers realizing that he's leaving. What does it say?
I think first of all,
Yeah.
I'd say that this country
Yeah.
is in total disarray.
Mm.
Like the country is in shambles. Everything and everything is everywhere. Because if you look at the breakout, the prison break, or the jail or the cell break of the alleged murder suspect, then you come back to things like the arrest of a social media sensation, Miss Saoko, who's, I think she called herself Maverick or something.
Yeah.
And then you come back to terrible things that happened and perhaps still happening concerning the Gen Zs, the deaths,
Yes.
the missing people, the people are being found at the mortuaries,
Yeah.
There's a problem in this country. And I think one would be forgiven to think that when you put things in a jar, then you shake it like this. So the beans is everywhere, everything is everywhere. And when I say that, that is actually a polite term I'm using to say that there's a problem in this country. And somebody who comes from the ODM party that is currently at the center of the governance, our people who were given some positions, I think it would be unfair or dishonest for me not to acknowledge that there's a problem in Kenya today, governance problem. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when the president took over, and I thank Baba for always giving up, akasema mmemchagua chukueni, at least he made sure that people didn't die.
Yeah.
Then Ruto took power. In my opinion, I feel that, I don't know whether he was overexcited or he was not really prepared to rule, to lead. Let me not say to rule, because rule is ruling. Let me say
rule
to
is
lead.
to lead.
There's a difference between leading. Yes, there's a difference between leading the masses and ruling the masses.
And
ruling the masses would be when you don't want people to go to the streets and exercise at Article 37. That is ruling people. But leading people is when you listen to what the masses are saying and you become cognizant of the issues that are creating things like maandamano,
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm speaking kama mtu wa ODM, but I'm also speaking as somebody who is very much alive to the fact that the masses, including a very big chunk of Raila Odinga supporters, are not happy. They feel disenfranchised. And the reason why they're not happy, I was speaking with a friend, and we decided to compare the Uhuru handshake with Baba. And then we also decided now to compare it to this one with Ruto. And I think the reason why the one that happened in 2017, even though 2018 March, even though people were very emotive, people had died, people were not happy with the government, but somehow, including myself, but somehow we managed to say, let's give it a chance. Because Baba said, but what alternative do we have?
Yes.
Let's do what? Let's give it a chance. And the reason why giving it a chance is something most of us don't regret today is because when Baba and Uhuru shook hands, so many things changed for good. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah. So like what are the things that you feel change for good, especially when
I feel that when Baba and Uhuru shook hands in March 2018, they had leadership chemistry.
Yeah.
There was that sigh of relief. There were bad things that were going on in government, that stopped things that like the outright looting. Don't forget the 2 billion a day that even President Uhuru said, enyewe, we are losing 2 billion shillings per day to corruption. When the handshake happened, that changed. When Baba and Uhuru shook hand, we saw some order in government. We saw a government that was previously very reckless, with even borrowing, very reckless, with so many things. Then we saw Uhuru that was even his body language changed. The way he was addressing Kenyans, the way he was listening to the...
Sorry, we lost you. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming back.
Changed for the better.
Yeah.
Then you remember when the handshake happened, the country was, the economy was bad. We had come from COVID, you remember?
Yeah.
And the COVID, the cost of living went through the roof because of COVID also. Then Baba and Uhuru sat down and they said, let us bring in the subsidies, because kumekuwa na COVID, people have lost jobs, there is no money. Let us subsidize some essential commodities, to which the president did. So I don't know whether it's early, but as Mariam, I'm struggling to see that with this regime. I'm struggling to see, I'm struggling to see Ruto heed the plea of Kenyans, the way Baba made Uhuru listen to Kenyans after the 2018 handshake. And the reason why I'm saying I'm struggling to see it, I could be wrong. Maybe perhaps I've not been keen. I've told you I've been sick for almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I've been sick, but I cannot say the same thing for Ruto. And for me, as a supporter of Raila Odinga and the ODM member, I am very worried that if things are not going to change for good, for positively, then this could taint the image of our party leader. Raila Odinga has a very good image. He has a legacy from here to I don't know where, a legacy to last a lifetime. But now I feel like he's trying to save the president, and I'm praying that him saving the president does not sink the legacy of our party leader, does not sink the way people view ODM. Remember, for a long time in this country, people view Raila Odinga as a sign of social justice and democracy. And Raila Odinga is held in a very high standard compared to all politicians. You put Raila Odinga can do something that Ruto has done. But the outrage that people will have against Baba will be way bigger than the outrage that people will have with Ruto. And that is because Kenyans associate Baba with democracy, social justice, good governance, pro-people governance. So I am very afraid that the president must really rethink things. And even our party leader, he must have a candid talk. He must have a candid talk with the president, for the president to do things the right way, so it does not taint the image of our party and taint his very rich legacy.
Okay, thank you. And I will come to the image of the party, and even Baba donating his professional, the way he said, to the current government. But I want to bring you to a history that yesterday also I shared with one of our guests about always when there's a revolution coming, a political class have always hijacked and made it their own or benefit them. And I will start in 1997. When there was a revolution against Moi, the political class came together and formed what we call Inter-Party Parliamentary Group, the IPPG. And if you look keenly, the IPPG was formed to stop the revolution that the people of the country were looking for, especially like good leadership then. And because people were criticizing Moi, and Moi was threatened by that, and he felt Baba and the political class came together and talked about this, and that revolution did not materialize. That is one. Another one that also happened when we came to the Grand Coalition government in 2017. 207, 208. It is beyond doubt that that election Baba won.
Yes, with a landslide.
With a landslide.
With a landslide, yes.
But he did not but people went for negotiation. There was a grand coalition. And in that grand coalition, people died. But they still, good leadership, corruption, that one did not solve. Then come to 2018, whereby you spoke well on how the Prime Minister and Uhuru Kenyatta shook hands. And I can remind you, on that day, there was a levy, a road levy that was voted for by ODM and Jubilee. Remember during the Kenya? You remember very well.
I
and
do.
This one was against, and
the 16%.
The 16%.
Was it 16 on fuel?
On fuel and the road levy. Remember, on fuel.
Yes. Yeah, it was on fuel.
It's on fuel. And then the Tanga that was headed by the current president, William Ruto, really protested about that. You know, and that one either did not solve the cost of living for the one inch. Now again, when revolution was coming for the Gen Z, we saw the president and Baba coming together to an extent whereby Baba donated the experts to the government. So when I give you all these chronologies, sorry, I'm giving you a chronology of how the political class have always made the power of the people, or sabotage the power of the people by making it their own. Yeah. And as you talked about, you're even worried about this, you know. How then can you convince people that this one that we have, it's going to solve the problems that every Kenya has been yearning for? Yeah.
I think that goes back to me telling you, when we go back to the levy that the Tanga guys were opposing after handshake, I hope you realize that they were just opposing the levy because Baba came to government.
True.
The same way Gachagua clique have also been opposing almost everything because Baba has joined. They're assuming Baba has joined the government. You understand?
Yep.
So the problem we have in this country is not even hijacking the revolution. If I can say without fear of contradiction, our problem is the political class.
Yes.
And that political class includes William Ruto. Because you see, you are saying that he opposed that levy in 2018 because it was not that thing. Opposing it was beneficial to him at that particular time. He wanted to resonate with Kenyans who are feeling the pinch of high cost of living. But today, he is even implementing even more rigid bills that are going to be even more burdensome on Kenyans. So in a nutshell, I can say that we do have a problem in Kenya, Benson.
Yeah.
We do have a problem in Kenya, and it has been a long time coming. Remember last time I told you that the only people whose Gen Z Mandamano got off guard were people who were oblivious to the reality, or people who were not in touch with the people of Kenya, the ordinary people of Kenya like me and you. Those were the only people that the Gen Z protest, at least for the first 14 days, they're the only people that got caught off guard. People like me and you knew this was coming, according to the way the country was being run. So again, I'm telling you, we have a problem. And this problem, it has been a long time coming. You know, when Baba and Co managed to send Moi into retirement, we started so well. In fact, I think to date, the election that we had in 2002, the Kibaki Tosha election, that is the only election that was free and fair and verifiable. Because at that particular time, Moi decided to go home. So at that time, what Kibaki did wrong, him and his Mount Kenya friends, they did not create the opportunity for people like Baba, who championed the what is it called? The retirement of Moi from power.
Yeah.
To put in the structures, to wash in our structures. Remember things like corruption, Benson? These things just don't happen overnight. These are things that they build up. I hope you know that today in Kenya, we have bills that runs into billions that we are being told that by the Auditor General of the country that we have ghost schools, we have ghost hospitals, we have ghost companies that government are paying thousands of people's salary every month. We have ghost schools that government is paying school capitation every year. The government is sending those money, yet these are things that don't exist. So this country is rotten to the core. And what our party is trying to do now is just perhaps to make sure that it doesn't go down, because it's already down.
I agree with what you are saying, but I also, and our viewers also want to understand, because we are looking at government. Government has so many departments that are taking place, but if you look what ODM did, or what the NEC ODM decided, and they said that we are donating our experts. And our experts are going to assist this government because it is sinking from even what the economists are saying, And now the experts have been donated to this government. And the question that rises is one: how are the experts that are being donated to the government are going to assist to lower the cost of living that majority of Kenyans are facing? That is one. Secondly, how are the experts going to make them easier so that we can have accountability and transparency? How are the experts going to make it easy for even what we are having today, educational funding, especially for those who are joining university in September? Yeah. So how are they going to do that? They are only four. And remember, some of the good governance, accountability, corruption, these are things that did not start with the President William Ruto administration. This is something that was inherited. It is something that has always been going on. So to our question, because you can tell us, because maybe you've worked with them, you've worked with the Honorable Mbadi, you've worked with the Joho, you've worked with Oparanya. How are they going to make sure that these issues that Kenyans are raising are going to be solved and Kenya can realize that dream? That is what people are asking.
I know. My thing again goes back to me telling you. Remember, my opening statement was, Baba has a very rich legacy in this country, not just in this country, in Africa. Baba is a symbol of social justice, is a symbol of democracy, is a symbol of good governance. Most people like me and you view him as that. That one we agree with.
True.
So when our people are taken to the government, we are hoping and praying that somebody like our former party chair, Mheshimiwa Mbadi, is going to bring in the very much needed integrity and ethics in the treasury. Because as I already told you, the ghost projects are killing us. The amount of money we are using in ghost projects alone, the ghost workers, the rot in the judiciary, in our financial system. If Mheshimiwa Mbadi carries the social justice, the good governance, the ethics, the integrity that the ODM party preaches, and takes it with him to the judiciary, I'm praying and I'm remaining hopeful that change will be. When
go ahead.
When Mheshimiwa Mbadi was being interviewed, when he was being vetted by Parliament, I think it was his interview, his vetting, and Mheshimiwa Wandai's vetting that I watched very closely. And I was doing that purposefully, not because the others were not important, but because initially I felt that how dare the president give our top brains in ODM a rotten judiciary to run, a corrupt judiciary to run? Is it a trap? I was again asking myself, how is President Ruto poaching the best brains like Mheshimiwa Wandai and putting him in energy? We already know the drama and the corruption that is happening with the fuel from Dubai, from Middle East to Kenya, to Uganda, to Tanzania. We are already aware. So I watched Mheshimiwa Mbadi's interview or vetting, and if the things he said that he would put in place to curb the corruption in judiciary, to curb the ghost problems, ghost projects being funded by government, I think it can bring change if he will be able to implement them. The same thing applies to Mheshimiwa Wandai. The same thing applies to our party leader, our deputy party leader, both Hassan Joho and Mheshimiwa Oparanya. We are just remaining hopeful. What we have at this particular hour is hope.
Oh yeah, and that hope is there for so many people, and that hope is being questioned because you know, me and you know that when, as we speak, we have Kenya Kwanza administration headed by His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto, and the president has the policies, you know. The president has the policies. They are the policies implementers, you know. And they are calling shots because there are so many arrangements that have made in this government even before the experts came in, you know. And you and me know that how it has always been said on how the president is a master of all. He knows everything. Even if you remember today, you saw he advised. He said that I advised the Attorney General to make sure that the like what was I cannot remember, but he advised. But you know, in contrary, Attorney General should advise the president. It should be the advisor to the president should not advise.
That goes back to me telling you that as Mariam, audience supporter, Raila Odinga supporter, my greatest fear is the disconnect that I see in Baba's body language and Ruto. You know, when Baba and Ruto and Uru became one, you could see the body language. They were in sync. You could see that both of them were coming from a genuine place. The president felt defeated. He knew he needed Baba for the country to move forward, and he was willing to listen. I was willing to listen. That is why when Baba said that bill, Kenyans are crying that bill that passed, the one you are saying Tanga will post. Baba told them, you have to now bring in the subsidy, because when fuel goes up, bread goes up. When bread goes up, everything literally goes up when fuel goes up. But with Ruto, I'm unable to put my hand in that. And that's why I keep telling you that as Mariam, I am praying for Kenya, because we do not have another Kenya. This is the one we have. True. But as of now, I'm still unable to see the connect, the chemistry, the governance chemistry between our party leader, which I believe 110% that means well for this country. But I cannot say.
Oh, sorry.
I cannot say the same for the president. And the reason why I'm saying I cannot say the same for the president, you know, when demonstration happens, these kids were not demonstrating in vacuum. And one thing that our people are also not aware, or I don't know whether they're ignoring it or they're not aware. You know, these demonstrations were not ours. The demonstrations that it was ODM or Azimio.
Hey, so what do you mean they were not ours?
When I said they were not ours, I'm saying, did you see me in the streets? And I'm always in the streets. Did you see me? You didn't see me. Because these kids said, and the first thing they said, I remember a video went viral of a very young girl saying, Baba, you have done enough. Please stay home. Let us take over where umefika. So bringing in our people, rather poaching the best brains from our end and putting them in government without being cognizant, without being alive to the issues that these kids went to the street for, to me is a foolhardy project.
And I want to follow on what you've said about.
I think I should say that again.
Yeah, I want to follow on that. What you've said about the young girl.
I should say that again.
Indeed.
So it doesn't get misconstrued. Let me say that again.
Say it again, then I will follow up.
I want to try and simplify it. What I'm saying is,
the
Gen Z's demonstrations were not our demonstrations. Baba did not call us to go to the streets.
True.
These kids saw another bill after the 2023 finance bill passed like a bad joke. And they said, Baba, kanyumbani. You have done your best. We appreciate you. But this one, allow us to deal with the government the best way we know how, which was exercising the Article 37 of the Constitution. So in my opinion, and I want this to be very clear to our viewers today, both from our party ODM and those who are in government, that the president must be alive to the fact that the demonstrations had nothing to do with us, the ODM or Azimio people. The demonstration happened because the youth of this country got tired of bad governance, dishonesty, ghost projects, and what have you. Even if you come and poach the best brains from our end, which has taken the best from our batch, has taken Mheshimiwa Joe, it took Oparanya, it took Mbadi, it took Mheshimiwa Mdas, the best brains in ODM. Even if you take those best brains, but you don't change, you do not, you don't, I don't know the right term, you don't solve the issues that took Gen Z's to the streets, it will be a foolhardy, in my opinion.
Thank you. And I want to follow up with you, because the same questions that you are asking, these are what even if you look at our comment section, that is what everybody is asking. And what everybody is asking is this. You said about the young girl who said, Baba we kanyumbani.
Allow us to take over.
These are the children that they saw Baba. And
they grew up, they saw Baba struggling for this country alone.
And the Baba was like their motivator, that when they see Baba was like an emblem to them, that this emblem or this statue that I'm seeing here, this is what drives me. That power in him, that what makes me to go on the street and advocate for better governance, advocate for accountability, advocate for transparency, advocate for no corruption. But at what point did it change that the emblem and the legendary that they drive or they take their motivation from decided to support what they were fighting?
I think that is where me and you disagree. To date, I refuse to believe that Baba was supporting or rather was sabotaging the Gen Z's revolution. I refuse to believe that. You know, when you take our ODM members and the hardcore team for Baba, I think I'm one of the few people who tends to speak outside the line sometimes. Most people are very coy, like you saw Mheshimiwa Bongo yesterday.
Yes.
So when I tell you that I refuse to believe that Baba is trying to save Ruto, Baba is not trying to save Ruto, even up to now. You know, we are not a realistic country. The Gen Zs did a wonderful thing. As Mariam, forever indebted to them. But the Gen Zs themselves, you know, a revolution has to have an end. You know?
True. Yes.
And you cannot say, we want to remove a bed. This is our motivation. You remove a bed, then what? You remove a bed, then what? The Gen Z is still unable to answer that question to date. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying they did not have a decisive answer to that question. So what Baba saw, just allow me.
I'll follow up. Yes.
What Baba saw was a successful demonstration that was getting out of hand. When the kids were being killed, shot like dogs in the streets, when the demos looked like they had been infiltrated by third parties, and Baba himself is also a candidate for AU chairmanship. Let us also not forget that.
Yeah, we know.
You cannot leave Kenya today when the country is in disarray and burning. And you go and sitting at Addis Ababa and say, my name is Raila Odinga. I come from Kenya. I'm a former prime minister and the chair of a very big political party. I want to chair the African Union that consists of 54 African countries. When where you come from is on fire, nobody will take you seriously. Because people will say, the idea of the African Union was built on things like they needed a voice, a platform where Africans would use it to solve African problems like the Congolese problem, like the Sudanese problem. Those are some of the core of African Union. Being an arbitrator, like an impartial arbitrator. You cannot go and sit on that big seat and back at home, the streets are burning. The kids are being shot like dogs in the streets. The president has probably taken a chopper and flew outside the country. Kenya is now having a military rule, something we have never tested. And everywhere we've seen military rule, it has never ended well. So Baba said, we have, you know what you people are forgetting, Benson? I told you last time when I was here, the last time we spoke, I told you that the reason why for me, I'm not upset that Baba decided to swoop in and save the situation. And the reason why I was not upset was because, remember, we have a constitutional and democratic way that is guaranteed to be peaceful, to remove a president that is not performing. And remember, we have barely 2 years. My advice to Gen Z's then and again now is, let us see. It is barely, I think it is barely a month or 6 weeks since our people joined government. Is it 5 or 6 weeks?
It's around that area.
So because this is a trial and error, I've already told you that the Uhuru Baba Pact was one of the best. Even if you ask Kenyans, they will tell you they saw changes. Some of the things that people were crying about changed. But let us wait and see
how this one is going to go. I'm listening.
If it doesn't pan out the way we want, to which, in my opinion, I can already tell it will not pan out that way. Because unlike Uhuru, who listened to Baba when Baba told him, these people don't want things like ABCD, and he told the line, he made sure that he had put things in place to make sure nobody was no longer looting 2 billion a day. That was being looted post before handshake happened. But the president, you can already see, he's pushing for the financial bill to come back. The first thing he did that pissed people off and continue to piss people off is renegading on things. He called a press conference in the lawns of the State House and said, I've had you. You don't want the budget for the spousal offices. I'll tore that down. You don't want this bill. I've listened, I've understood. I will remove it. What is it doing? 6 weeks is doing the same thing. So give him time. If he does not change, wait for him on the ballot. Let Gen Z's regroup. Meanwhile, go to the IBC, get IDs, get votes. If he does not toe the line, let us think, who is our candidate now that our Baba is going away? Do we tell Baba don't go away? Give him time. If he doesn't perform in 2 years' time, Baba can come back and vie.
Okay, true. Now, I just want to...
Baba can come back, we tell him, Bwana, this guy did not deliver, and like Uhuru, now you come and be on the ballot, leave that seat, now come back home.
Yeah, that is at his own disposal. He can come back. But now, there are some issues that you've raised that I want to follow up with you. One, the history has it that even when people were protesting, before even Gen Z protesting, Baba and the other, Baba has been protesting, they've always called for Uhuru must go, Ruto must go. So there was the Gen Z was asking that question, that during that time, why the what next question was not asked. That is one. Then another thing also, you talk about the African AU, you know, to be very sincere, you know, African AU, we've questioned it for some, especially when we come to the issues of Africa. Africa is one of the continent that is highly blessed with minerals and every word. Go to YouTube, go search what the president for Uganda said about when there was an issue with Libya. When the delegation of Africans were going to Libya, they were stopped. They were told that they have not, you know.
But I also want to be in records that President Paul Kagame, not Paul Kagame, but Museveni, he betrayed Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. He is one of the people that should not talk about the unfortunate, unacceptable, unwarranted ouster of one of the best African leaders, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi.
So
he should not talk about Gaddafi ouster. It's a very sad thing that the West did to Africa.
So these are some of the things that we are asking ourselves. There are so many things that if we want to start to discuss about Africa, look at even Congo. Congo has been at war with itself for the longest time. Does it mean that the AU and all the organs of Africa are not there? You know, when you see these young children
like
dying,
this conversation.
Yeah. So
this
what is it?
One of my best conversations.
I'm just thinking, you know, that if we say that we cannot, Baba could not go there, yet the country was burning, you know. What about Congo?
But Baba doesn't come from Congo. And charity begins from home. And home in this case is Kenya.
He's an African. You know.
He is.
You know, the one thing with the African that we forget, the boundaries that we are having as African, these were not boundaries that were created by us. These boundaries were given to us. We did not have these boundaries. These airspaces, the passport that we have, as an African, we should not. We did not have this, but we have made to do that. That as African, if I want to go to Uganda, I have to get a passport. But Uganda is just like a passport. Unaingia Busia, unaingia Uganda. Lakini lazima mtu anakuambia ukuwe na passport. Yeah. So I think for a moment, what we want to leave discussion of experts and come to Azimio and ODM. You know, one thing that we have to agree, and we have to agree at some point, we are talking from point of view and what the comments are going. Majority of young people, for sure, majority of young people feel that Baba really left them at the point of need. That is what the young people, even they cannot come out and say that, but inside them, if you have a conversation with them, they feel, because Baba was father to them and he taught them how to do this.
Yes,
and
he did.
And he said that we are at war with the enemy, and you took your best soldiers, you allowed them to go with the enemy that we were fighting, and you still want to stand with us. They feel now they're not buying it.
That one I will still again support Baba, stand with Baba. The reason why I keep saying, and I've given you an answer to that.
Yeah.
When Baba agreed, even though I've seen several Baba saying these people were probably approached independently, but even if they did, I know they had to talk also to our party leader.
Yes.
What Baba did goes back to me telling you that you have to be cognizant. I even told you last time. You have to be cognizant to Raila Odinga that does not want this country to go to the dogs. Even if you leave the African Union thing outside, Baba will always, that is why even in 2007, I like that you say that it was a landslide win for Baba.
That is true.
And even the president that is now giving us a hard time, he was on our side in 2007. And even he knows that Baba won with the landslide and Baba should have become the president. But when people were being killed, when you could not go beyond Kericho, when people were being burnt in their houses just because they're called Omondi or Atieno.
Yes.
That is why Baba said, okay, to hell with it. Why do I need the presidency if the people, if it's coming with all this blood of more than, 3,000 people? The people that were displaced, the people that were killed. So that Raila Odinga is always somewhere. And for you to understand Raila Odinga politics, you also have to be cognizant of that Raila Odinga. And this goes back to me telling you, even now, that the Gen Z's demonstrations lacked just one thing, and one thing only. You know, when you start a journey, you just don't say, I want to go to Kenya. Because Kenya is not a static place.
Yes.
Kenya is Nairobi, there's Kisumu, there's Mombasa. You want to say, when I get to Kenya, I'm leaving America, I'm going to Kenya now.
Yeah.
When I get to Nairobi JKIA airport, I want to go to Kisumu County, or I want to go to Busia. The Gen Z did not have an exact destination for the demonstrations. And if you remember, the main reason why the Gen Zs took to the streets was the finance bill, was the disregard for the voice of the people that the government had developed, the arrogance, the cockiness, they do what you do, I'm going to do what I want. That is what took these kids to the streets. And when the president said that he was going to heed the voice of the people, he was going to remove the spousal thing, he was going to forget about the scrap away the 2024 finance bill. We also, even I felt that you have done a good job, but there is no hurry. Let us give this guy a chance. Let us see what he's going to do with these 2 years. Remember, Ruto is not a life president.
True.
We have elections in 2027. That is why, that is why, to me, even though I may have my own concerns, like him taking the image of our party leader and the rich legacy of Raila Odinga, Ruto is not a life president. In 2027, this country will be going to elections. And my advice to the Gen Z, the last time I was here, and again now, regroup. You know, in a war, even in a real war, in a war, there's sometimes where you say, you know, we've taken a beating on this one. Let us go home and regroup. Let us go home and have a postmortem. Let us go home and see why did this and this did not actualize. So let the Gen Zs use the remaining 2 years to regroup, to take ideas, to take votes. And there's something here that Gen Zs are not taking into account. The rotten presidential election system. That is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to face. I'm repeating, the rotten presidential election system in Kenya. Let our young people who yearn for change and good governance and accountability use these 2 years. Let them, what is it called? Let them brainstorm. Let them wait and see. Because also another thing that I want the Gen Zs to be cognizant of.
Yes.
Ruto, we agreed that he has not been a good guy. We did the other time. I'm still repeating that because I'm yet to see him implement the things he read in the Law of State House by his own mouth from his own tablet that he will do. He has renegated on all that. So what the Gen Zs even should be doing, other than even concentrating on the president, why did the rain start beating us outside the Ruto's presidency? There's a big problem here that nobody seems to see or understand. Do you know the most rotten thing in this country, if you ask me? It's our parliament.
That we are coming to that.
It's our judiciary. It's our electoral system. Ruto is an individual. Perhaps with his people. But we must ask ourselves, Raila is a good guy. Baba has been a good guy. But we have voted, sometimes we vote for Baba to a T. But they don't announce Baba, they announce other people. Let Gen Zs use the remaining 2 years, Benson, to think about these things. Because even if you rush and remove Ruto now, then, you know, let's assume that God is on our side. You remove Ruto, we don't get the military dictatorship, and we get the opportunity to call another election. Do you know the way presidential electoral system, our electoral system is rotten to the core?
But
and is under capture by the people who claim to own Kenya. Do you know just how rotten our parliament is? Look at it this way. Ruto, the reason why we are paying $1 billion wage bill, we're having the senators, the MCAs, the women rep, the MPs, is because the judiciary, I'm forgetting a very important arm, the judiciary. It is because if the president goes rogue,
Yeah.
He's implementing bills that people don't want. So like this 2024 finance bill.
Yeah.
If he dares to implement that bill, the job of the MPs, the job of the senators, the job of the women rep is to refuse to pass that bill. What have they been doing? They're part of the problem.
Okay, let me.
You cannot concentrate on Ruto without talking about these people.
Let me now. Let's come to the parliament, because it has always been said that the 13th parliament is the worst in the history of parliamentary democracy.
It
based
is.
to the fact that not all of them. I don't want to classify it or Kenya Kwanza.
Not our ODM legislators have been very good people. In 2023, they refused the finance bill. In 2024, they did.
Leave about even refusing the finance bill. The reason why I'm saying this, compare the parliamentary where Speaker Emeritus Marende was heading then. It was full of wisdom, and the debates
Marende was a very good speaker.
And like it was resonating even in the schools. People could go for debates, and people would want to debate like people were debating in parliament.
And parliament.
And if you look at our parliament today, one, it is always a culture, or it is always a parliamentary. If there is an issue to be debated in parliament, it is usually not very good shot for members of parliament to walk out of parliament. Because if you walk out on the parliament, it will not be on the handset, And we've always seen that, even though the ODM members, sometimes they say they're not given chance to debate on some issues. That's why they walk out. But if you walk out without saying anything, it is not in the handset. The history cannot remember you, and it is always where we usually go wrong. If you go to this developed country, when people are working on something like budget is something that the minority and the majority, they come together in the closed doors. They agree on, this is what we want you to implement, this is what I don't want you to implement. Then they agree on the give and take. So when they come to the public, or when they come to the parliament, they come with an agreed budget, such that not hamper the running of the government. But this is what we don't see with our parliament, because our parliament is no or yes. It's either my way or not your way. And if that one happens, then how do we say that the parliamentary democracy is possible? Because even if you come to the finance bill of 2024, that was rejected by the people. Remember, the opposition withdrew some of the amendments that they wanted to put in. How do we call that?
That's why I'm telling you that while the Gen Zs are just concentrating on Ruto, we have other problems that requires their attention as well. And one of them is the dysfunction and the chokehold the president have on parliament. It is not a democracy if a president can make a phone call and say, by the way, your bill lazima ipite. It's no longer democracy. It's only a democracy when it is something that leaders sit down and decide. Not like our ODM leaders decided that they didn't want the 2024 finance bill, and they voted against it. The ruling party's MPs voted yes. That is when it's a democracy. But the way things stand today, and there's something Baba has also talked about very bitterly. But I'm seeing that while we are concentrating about Ruto, and maybe a few of our guys in the government, we are forgetting. I was one of the people who used to think that it is also good for party members to be autonomous, as in to be able to make sometimes decisions for themselves. And I learned that the hard way when, after Ruto was announced, minus 21 constituencies that had happened to have been our strongholds, story for another day. He went on a rampage. He went on a shopping spree. He was shopping for MPs. He was shopping for senators, the women reps, all members of parliament, including even MCAs. And when Baba made a lot of noise then, it didn't make sense to most of us. But now that we are talking about the rot in Parliament, I realized that one of the reasons why Raila Odinga was against MPs not towing the party line is what has created what we are seeing in Parliament. Because look at the MPs. When elections was over, Azimio, we had more MPs than Tanga people. But Azimio coalition, we had more MPs. Today we are the minorities. Only because some of our people were bought.
But Mheshimiwa, there's one time like you leaders, you are messing us up. Who are leading us? You're messing up us. I think you've taken us, especially the public, to be what we call the political illiteracy, and the political illiteracy is whereby the minority make decision for the majority. And you make us feel because you are leaders, you can make decisions, and those decisions are very right. Talking about the people who went to with the government, and that one include, we can mention Honorable Tom Ojienda, the senator for Kisumu. We have this MP for Langata, aka Jalango. We have Elisha Akuba. These are people who went prior to be with the president, and when they went, they were castigated. They were called names, But now, when this one happened, it is now free. And even if you listen, if you listened even to the other time I was relating to Atandi Meli, or he was saying, now we have to support this government because our people are there. At what point does it usually change? At what point do we have this change of mind, and something that was very sour in taste of mind and now is tasting good? At what point do we change?
I think on this one, let me issue a disclaimer. I do not have a problem with Professor Ojienda. I don't have a problem with what is it called, Jalango. That was their personal decision.
Yes, true.
But one thing that, but there are so many people ask me this question, that why are we now not making noise that our cream de la cream have begun to government the way we were making noise when Ojienda went. But I think there's a difference.
Yeah.
And the difference, Benson, you live in America.
True.
Lately, I'm not a very big fan. I used to be a very big fan of America. When I was growing up as a small girl in Kaloleni, I used to be, I loved the westernization of women power and what have you.
Yeah.
But going to school has opened my eyes, and I realized America is also a leech. Story for another day. But even though it is wrong, of late it has gone wrong.
Yeah.
You see that the Democratic Party,
true,
you cannot be a house representative of Democratic Party and wake up from your house and decide that you want to do ABCD, especially where decisions, when it comes to critical issues like crossing to the other side. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Is that possible in the US? And the US is one of the most mature democracies in the world. I told you last time that our constitution was almost like a copy-paste of the US. Am I lying? Political parties are like families, like organizations. They're entities. And in any family, there is the father, the head of the home. Then there is the mother, the person nurturing people. So in ODM, Raila Odinga will forever be our father. Even after he dies, God forbid. So you cannot, especially when you are being told, don't go, wait. Especially when your party leader is telling you, please, relax. We want to see the way ABCD goes. So you see now, it is not like Mheshimiwa Wandai or Mheshimiwa Joho just woke up and decided he's going to join Ruto's government. There has been things that has happened. True. And the person that opened this door is our party leader. And when he opens this door as the party leader, as our father, the father of our family, the ODM family, he's meeting Ruto on that level, of the family, the father to the Jifa. Like, it's like two families. You see? It's like two families. Family ya jirani na family yangu. Now, my husband comes out, the husband of the other guy comes out. Perhaps we are having a tiff. And we are neighbors. They speak as men and heads of our homes. Then when they speak and have a breakthrough, the mother I cannot come back and tell my kids, by the way, your dad has said, from today you can play with kina nani. So when Baba and Ruto talk on a personal level, it means that they are talking as heads of two different entities. Ruto will not just be talking to Baba as the president, he's also talking to Baba as the party leader of UDA. Baba is talking to him as the party leader of ODM and the leader of Azimio coalition. So there's a difference between maybe our brother Jalango going, or rather wiggling his way there to go and warm up to him. And that's why I'm saying this finance bill, even the 2023 finance bill, it went through because we lost some of our members. Remember, I told you that immediately elections were done with, we had majority in the House. But we, for someone, before even the speaker could be elected, we had become the minority, even though we had the most legislators elected in Azimio.
Moesh.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question here, because there's also something that I maybe you can make our viewers to understand. When you are elected, I know you swore by the Bible you are a member of county assembly.
I swore by Quran.
Oh, Quran. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, you from there you became a state legislator. You are a state officer. You are.
Yes, not a state officer, a representative of the people.
No, you are a state. You are being paid by the government. You are a state officer. That is what you are.
But state is the people, though.
Yeah, you are the government. You are the government. If you are a state officer, you represent the state of Kenya, or state of Kisumu, or county of Kisumu.
Though legislators are not state officers. State officers are CSS. We are representative of the people.
Okay, but still,
constitutionally speaking.
Constitutionally, but remember. When you are in the House, when you are in the House, sometimes you don't have to vote based on the party line, because you vote based on what you think are affecting your people. And I can give you a typical example. The late John McCain, during the Trump era, when they wanted to scrap the Obamacare. Do you know who saved that?
I know.
Is who?
John McCain.
Why?
And he was a Democrat.
He was a Republican.
Oh.
He was a Republican, a very strong Republican.
But Obama was a Democrat.
Obama was a Democrat. No, what happened? Let me give you the history. What happened when Trump came in? Trump wanted to do away with the Obamacare. And the Obamacare was really a good care for those who could not afford those could not afford expensive insurance.
Yes.
So it was taken to the Senate and it was brought on the floor to vote. The person who saved that was John McCain before he died. And then President Trump did not like him. And you can see the way he did like this for that. And all the Republicans in the Senate wanted that Obamacare to be scrapped. So at times it calls, look at your country. It's not look what your party says. So that's why I was constitutionally, when you swore by the Constitution and even by the Quran or by the Bible to protect the country. So which means your country supersedes your political party. That if we have that political sanity, your country will always supersede your political party. So sometimes even if let's say, for example, when they voted the 2023, 2024, they might be having a reason why they feel, okay, in my constituency, this could have been working for me. I would not say that I'm not supporting them, but I'm just giving analogy to say that when you are in the parliament, it is about look at your country. It's not your party. First of all, we know we have the party lines, but also you have to look at a party. And that one also, if you look at Joe Mushini, is also a Democrat who voted against the Joe Biden. He was from Michigan. I'll check that, when he brought the infrastructure bill. Because it was not working for him. He ended up, and they had to persuade him, Yeah. So sometimes I think we should bring that political sanity to our parliament or to our county assembly. Look at what our people are going through. We should not just say we are not voting for it or we are voting for it, but we have to look at the pro and cons of what is coming. If it is okay, let us do. I can tell you, when I was home, I visited one of hospital counties. I went one of the hospital counties, and I will not mention. And I went to the ICU. And I went to see, there was a friend of mine. Did you know we were forced to take off the shoes and walk barefoot on the ICU? We were not given the gowns, And these are some of the things that we are calling, and we say, like, what are you giving us? And even if you look at the way the people who are ICU are treated, after they are realizing who I was, then the treatment change. So sometimes you find like the services that we need, even to the professionals, some of them who are employed in those hospitals, they're not giving our people very good services until they realize who is who in the society.
Now, I understand. And now you've even digressed, but it's okay. We were talking about, we started with the issue of Kinajalango.
Yeah.
And the reason why I was saying that sometimes it's good also to have sanity in the party and the unison in the party.
Yeah.
Can we be in agreement right now?
Yeah.
That the people of Kenya do not want 2023 finance bill? They didn't want it, they still don't want it.
True, I agree.
Is that true? Is that true?
True.
Number two, can we be in agreement that the people of Kenya, including myself and you, we do not want the 2024 finance bill before it was passed, before it was even taken to Parliament, and even now that I hear it could find its way back to Parliament? Do we agree with that? That statement is accurate?
Accurate, 100%.
Why I was complaining about legislators, why we went into Parliament with majority only to become minorities was the housing levy bill. Nobody wants that. In fact, I call it criminal housing levy bill. I will forever call it that because it's a criminal bill. These people voted for that bill. Our ODM legislators, those who told the party line on the other side, did not vote for that bill.
True.
Baba said more than, I think, 3 times, even a day to the final vote. He called the legislators, both ODM legislators and Azimio legislators, and said he has done his work. He has received numerous messages, letters. People don't want that finance bill. I stand for the people. Go to Parliament and don't vote for that bill. True. When they went to Parliament, our ODM legislators and some Azimio legislators did not vote for that bill. That was in 2023. But our leaders that had opened the other door, they voted because the president wanted that bill. They did not vote because they want that bill or because the people who voted for them wanted that bill. They voted for that bill because that is what the president that is what the president wanted. And that is the problem, Benson. The president is not supreme. If President Ruto or the presidents of this country was supreme, we would not be having other arms of government like the judiciary, the parliament, and what have you.
But at what?
You talk about the healthcare system.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, as somebody who is also a healthcare provider, that your statements are 110 accurate. There's a problem with our healthcare system, and with the new government, it has gone from bad to worse. You remember that? I don't know. It was called sharing or what? What was supposed to transition from NHIF to? What was it called?
Shift.
There was a synonym or something for it.
Yeah.
So that's why, when we started this conversation, Benson,
I
told you that this country is rotten to the core. It did not get rotten with Ruto. Though Ruto has taken the road to another level. This country, for it to change, The problem is not even the president.
Yeah.
The structures of this country are bursting with corruption.
And how can we fight that corruption? How can we fight that corruption?
That's why I keep saying that let us have these conversations more. Let the Gen Zs give Ruto the 2 years to do Ruto. We will see what Ruto has done in 2027 on the ballots. Give him time. While he's doing Ruto, let us come back here. Let us ask ourselves, number one, why have we been unable to elect the president that reflects the will of the people? Do you know that in this country, Benson, since independence, the presidency has been revolving around 2 communities? It's almost automatic. And
why?
I'm not a tribal person.
Why?
That's what I'm getting there. I'm just issuing a disclaimer. I'm not a tribal person, by the way. I don't have a problem with any tribe, so long as I judge people as individuals, because I also want people to judge me as Mariam, not Mariam Jalu or Ria, the way they say. I want them to judge Mariam. Huh? But do you know in this country, the president comes from Central Kenya and goes to Rift Valley and goes to Rift Valley and goes back to Central Kenya? In a country that is deeply tribal like ours, in a country that your last name, Benson, your last name determines whether you will get a job, not your CV or your academia, your last name. Since we got independence, do you know since Mzee Moi went home, the only election that was not contested was 2002 elections. The rest of elections to date have been contested.
But where is the problem?
If you ask me, if you ask me the support of Raila, I believe my Baba has been robbed. For all the time that we've been having election, I believe Baba has been winning. You ask another person, they tell you our Ruto, even now, I believe Baba was robbed. Ruto supporters, they tell you they believe Ruto won. Don't you think there's a problem that supersedes Ruto?
Okay,
Don't you think there's a problem in this country that supersedes the office that Ruto holds today?
I agree. I agree.
And I want to tell you something while at it. Today, I promised myself not to disrupt you.
Because you see what is happening. You know what we are doing here. We are doing civic education because you know I agree with what you are saying, and it's something that is questionable. But remember, some of this. When we look at themselves, some of these are created, and I would want to immediately after the 2007, 2008, when we had our country, we almost lost the country.
Yes, that is what Baba has been scared of, both in 2017 and now.
And now
that 2007 is what Baba is scared of.
And now, so let me just bring you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. There was a Kligra report, especially that came out and talked about on how election should be done. On how, because election is a process. It's not like one day just go and vote.
It is a process.
It should start with how we procure, how we print, and the day that we are voting. But don't you see that too always has become a problem? We've never had that, because even as we speak with you today, we do not have commissioners. And
the IBC is dormant.
And the reason why we don't have commissioners is one. Remember, there is a court case that really put injunction to the committees that were supposed to be, due to the fact that there was disagreement between the parties who are going to. Somebody was nominated and he was withdrawn again. He went to court, and that one is there. That is one. Secondly, again. I just want to bring you again to NADCO report. When you look at NADCO report was saying that we should have from 7 to 9. Yeah. But if you look very keenly, what are the two going to do? Because IBC, it has always been divided, even to the time when during the Kivitu time. Because what we are lacking what we call the trust between each other. Because the people who are running for presidential election, they have to make sure that they put their people in those places. And what their people are going to do is going to see who is stealing from who. Yeah. But who is taking care of Kenyans? A woman in Garissa who has voted, went very early in the morning to vote. Who is taking care of that vote? So
now
some of these things are created. Or am I lying?
You're not lying, Benson. I'm going back to something that you've reminded me of. By the way, I want to take this minute to appeal to President Ruto.
Yeah.
You know the Cherera 4 are in exile. Are you aware?
Yes.
And last week or so, Dr. Irene Masit lost her biological father.
Yes.
Baba went to that funeral. I think he has a friendship with the family.
Yes.
And it really hurt my heart that even though we are now not hostile with the government, Irene Masit could not bury her biological father. That is not okay. You know, if we are going to forge a broad-based government where the opposition and the government compare notes and are friendly, an immediate IBC commissioner like Dr. Irene Masit should not miss the burial of her biological father. I hope that some of our supporters, some of our viewers that are watching this thing, can tell President Ruto that it is time to bring the Cherera 4 back. We have already buried the ghost of 2022 elections. We have accepted that he's the president. We have accepted that we want to see what he's going to do with the brains he have poached from us. Let him bring back the Cherera 4. With that said, I want us to address the Azimio fallout, the so-called fallout.
Yeah, so that let's actually, I wanted to come to that, and thank you. And now the Azimio fallout, and I just want to remind you on Azimio fallout, and I might quote the Homa Bay MP Opondo Kaluma, who said, I think that Azimio should be dissolved, and those positions that are in Parliament should be given to ODM. They feel that is what Opondo Kaluma, I quote, he said that Azimio should be solved. That is one. We also saw the new chair, Her Excellency Wanga, on how Her Excellency Wanga, the Homa Bay governor, the chair lady of the ODM, how he addressed the party yesterday. He had a presser yesterday, and he talked about other parties. You know, what is going on in Azimio?
I think in Azimio, I want to take two angles. The first angle is I've seen Mheshimiwa Jeremiah Kioni anaribu mdomo sana. I've seen the little jabs that is directed at Baba and even Baba's integrity. And I want to take this opportunity to remind Jeremiah Kioni that Baba was the government's candidate in 2022. Baba, up to last minute, was one of the most popular presidential candidates in 2022. Even with the sitting president on our end, they did not take care of our votes with the government machinery. As far as I'm concerned, they betrayed us. How they did it, I don't know and I don't care. But this is Africa. This is Africa, where sitting presidents tend to have their way. When we went to elections, we had a similar situation in Nigeria with Tinubu, Tinubu, or rather President Tinubu. Tinubu was the sitting president, or rather the outgoing president's candidate. The same way our Baba was the outgoing president's candidate. And if I can quote CNN and BBC and even Larry Madowo, Nigerians believe that Tinubu did not win elections. There were demonstrations in Nigeria after, I think, 3 months. Nigerians didn't want him. And I followed that elections. And when that election was happening, when the government I'll use allegedly so we don't catch a lawsuit, when the government allegedly realized that their candidate was losing, Nigeria, the government put the lights off and internet and everything for a cool 24 hours. When the light and internet came back, Tinubu was on top of things, allegedly, so that we don't catch a lawsuit. And Tinubu was announced. And you could see that majority of Nigerians didn't want him. They don't want him, even as I speak now. But he's sitting on that seat. Why was Baba's case, that is totally different because he was popular? Why couldn't the Mount Kenya people, the Azimio people, why couldn't they make sure that our votes and Chebukati announced the right one? Do you know Chebukati, by the way, announced the presidential elections minus 21 constituencies? This is not allegedly. This is true. Minus 21 constituencies. And those constituencies were our strongholds. Do you know? Listen to me. This one, I hope Jeremiah Kioni is watching.
Yes.
Do you know, Benson, that barely a few weeks to elections, somebody decided that it was good to postpone the gubernatorial elections in Azimio and ODM strongholds? Somebody.
Kakamega and Mombasa.
Do you know what happens when you postpone a gubernatorial election during a presidential election? It means that the voter turnout is going to be low. Somebody sat somewhere, a very clever person, and decided that they were looking for means and ways to suppress the voter turnout in Azimio strongholds. What did President Uhuru do about that? Why didn't he do something? What did Jeremiah Kioni do? What did Martha Karua do? Do you know even Martha Karua's MCA did not vote for Baba? I may not know, but do you know Martha Karua's MCA belongs to UDA?
But you know.
Do you know that according to Chebukati, majority of Central Kenya voted for Ruto?
But
where
now,
do they get the moral ground to chastise Baba and call Baba out of his name? Because Baba has decided to warm up to Ruto. Ruto that they gave power.
You see, like now, Baba. Now, you know, I want to approach this in somebody who is in the media that wants to give information. You know, when it comes to voting, each and every person has a right to vote for whom they prefer to vote for. It doesn't matter. That is what is there. You know, that is one. Yeah. Secondly, you know, what is happening in Azimio? I don't know how I can kind of like classify it, because the disagreement that is there is that the ODM has decided to work with the government. So they are in the process of kicking ODM out.
Now, let me ask you, let me tell you a tale again, or ask you.
Yeah.
Do you know the first people that went to UDA government was Jubilee MPs? What did Jeremiah Kioni do about it? The first, even forget about our MPs like in Ajalas. The people that went to UDA first were MPs from Jubilee.
So you want to justify?
Why did Jeremiah Kioni not say then? Why did he not chastise Uhuru? By the way, let me tell you something, Benson.
Yeah.
Personally, as somebody who understands Raila's politics,
the
only person I empathize with deeply in all this Azimio conflict is His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yes.
And the reason why I empathize deeply with Kalonzo is because, unlike our other partners in Azimio, one of the people that brought us solid votes that could be counted and verified was Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka.
True.
And remember, Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka was not on the ballot as a running mate. He was just a co-principal of Baba. His supporters voted for Baba to the last man standing. They voted for us. They supported my party. They supported us. So the only person I empathize with deeply in this equation is Kalonzo Musyoka. And I know Baba also feels the same. And something will happen. But Jeremiah Kioni, Martha Karua, These people do not have the moral ground
but
to say bad things. And let me remind you about something about Martha Karua. Who decided that Martha Karua should be Baba's running mate? It was not Kenya people. No, me, I know.
Yes.
As a ODM person, you saw that my video. Bomas. The way I was polizing Filimbe Apo Jacaranda is the same way I was also hovering around Azimio during all these things. It was Uru's guys. Because remember Baba's election, there was our others. There was our side. Sisi watu wa Raila. Then there was the side of watu wa kina Uru. Do you know that Martha Karua is a persona non grata in both the US and the UK? This is not alleged. This is a fact.
I'm not sure.
She became a persona non grata in 2007. When he I don't know, removed ambassador. It was called Renneberg or something. Then America also declared her persona non grata in the US.
That one not
now you know.
You can confirm.
Country, yes, this is not allegedly. This I'm saying, let somebody sue me. This is not allegedly. In a country that is deeply infiltrated and run behind the scenes by Western powers, how dare you give Raila Odinga a running mate that has a problem with the West? If you didn't want Baba not to get the Western support.
But now my question to you, because my question to you, if all this that you are raising, you knew them then, what made you not to raise that issue?
We made noise. But
what happened?
Remember, Baba only have 2 years. He only has 2 years. And you remember even Mheshimiwa Dr. Buru, he said that we have been winning this thing on our own, by ourselves, but we have not been able to be advertised because we don't have the state machineries. Perhaps this alliance will make sure that the state machinery takes care of our votes. So, because we did not need Uhuru to announce Baba the way Nigeria announced Tinubu. What we needed Uhuru to do was to make sure that Baba's votes were protected and Baba's win was not shortchanged. That is the only thing we needed from Jeremiah Kioni and Co. But they didn't hold their end of the bargain. To date, I'm unable to internalize or to understand or to comprehend how we lost an election with the most popular candidate. I told you last time that I usually like watching our voting patterns. I watch even mine here in the ward. The way we voted, the young people, the Gen Zs, they voted for Ruto. They liked Ruto. You know, Ruto knows how to get his way with gullible people. But the people my age, our age, who are age like that, who understand the history of this country, we were with Baba. Yes, as we were, and we are the majority. But that time, these kids were not as active as they are now. Don't think we have healed. We have not healed. So Jeremiah Kioni has zero moral grounds to chastise anybody for talking to Ruto. He has to tell us, where is Sabina Chege? Where is Jubilee Party? They are the first people who crossed over, even before our very own, like Kina Jalango, crossed over.
So let me ask you, Mheshimiwa. I just want to know if so, does it mean that you are justifying what happened is okay?
I am not justifying anything. I am not justifying anything, Benson. I am being something called a realist. Because before Baba Raila Odinga is our Baba, is a human being. True. He feels things that you and me feel. And politics is interest. If you're telling Baba now that Baba shouldn't go to AU, that Baba should sit back and watch you remove this guy from power and put him there, when you are unable to protect his votes when you had the state machineries, what miracle do you have now? I'm one of the people who is very skeptic about this union. And I told you that I'm a diehard of ODM, I'm an ODM member, I'm a Raila Odinga member till I die. But on this one, I'm treading carefully. I'm very skeptical. I'm doing a wait and see with it. But even with that, I still know that some of the Azimio principles don't have the moral grounds to chastise Baba. Ati ameenda huko.
But tunasikiza kuna siku walisema wameanza mchakato wa kuondoa ODM katika muungano.
You remove ODM from Azimio, you remain with what?
Wanabaki na Azimio.
What is Azimio? Azimio is a coalition of political parties. And the biggest and most active political party in Azimio is ODM. We have the most legislators. And also, it is unrealistic to try to stretch Azimio to 2027, Benson. History doesn't lie. It is unrealistic. So even Raila Odinga, if he wasn't going to AU, Baba knows it is not viable to try to stretch Azimio to 2027. How many coalitions have we had? We've had NASA. We had the PNU, the Kibaki PNU and Baba's thing in 2002 during Kibaki Tosha. We again had another thing in 2007. We had another thing in 2013. We had another thing in 2017 where by the way, do you know what happened to Baba in 2017? Can I tell you why nobody, I repeat, can I tell you why? Even though I'm skeptical about this union, but I will not allow anybody to try to scold Baba for maybe allowing our people to go to the government. Do you know what happened to Baba? Do you know what they did to Baba in 2017, Benson?
What?
I told you in 2017, Sisi tulilala Uhuru Park. Unakumbuka? Even my own father disowned me that they sent me a message and told me nikienda Uhuru Park, nisimpigie simu nikikufa. And I went to Uhuru Park. The day Miguna swore Baba in. Do you know before that swear? You remember that swear in was they kept postponing it. They would say swear in next week. Then tunapata message that imekuwa postponed. Do you know what happened? Do you know all these people, do you know they abandoned Baba? Including Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka that I hold in very high regard, and I feel that as an ODM supporter I stood with our Baba and we owe him some small loyalty. Kalonzo first fled to Germany. Remember, you are a presidential candidate who has won election with landslide because 2017 Baba won elections. Even Supreme Court agreed with us. Your co-principals wametoroka wote. Baba went to Uhuru Park. There's something my maternal grandmother loved saying, Nyatikich. Baba no there, he went to Uhuru Park Nyatikich. You know what Nyatikich means?
A child without a father, an orphan.
Kalonzo was nowhere in sight. Mudavadi was nowhere in sight. Wetangula was nowhere. Was just Baba. And the only thing that we had, all the people of Kenya, majority of the people of Kenya were with Baba, including Kalonzo Musyoka, who fled. His supporters were with us. So Baba has also been betrayed severally.
Okay.
You cannot tell me you want to stretch Azimio to 2027 elections. So, we tried this coalition. It failed. Baba was very popular. We don't know what happened. Ruto is now sitting on the throne. We want to give him time. We will see what happens in 2027.
As we speak today, or as we speak now, Azimio is normal.
I wouldn't say that because I'm not a principal or one of the members in Azimio. But what I do know, that there will be no Azimio without ODM. Okay. And ODM as a political party is not in government.
So
we are not in government. I, as Mariam, an ODM MCA, I am not in government. ODM is not in government. We are still in the opposition. That is why Mheshimiwa Mbadi had to resign. That is why Mheshimiwa Joho had to resign first. We are not in government.
So in the event that one day they resign from the government, they are welcome to come back to the ODM.
Why not? These are our people. The best brains we've had. Why not? These are our guys. They're our leaders. Why not come back to the ODM? ODM is our political home.
But now, now what you need to do, or some of the things that now you need to do as ODM party, now you need to start having forums and making sure that you make the followers and the people understand what you're saying, that ODM is not in government.
Because I've been trying to say, but it's not easy. People are not
majority, because like even if I read the comment section here, it will tell you 100% of the comments are saying ODM is in government. These are people who are watching. Yeah.
We're not in government. Our leaders went to government and resigned.
Yeah.
Benson, I saw an analysis somewhere where somebody said, I'm not a soccer fan. I'm not a football fan. Yeah. But somebody said that there have been instances where, I don't know, Arsenal people can borrow Manchester people during football, and doesn't mean that now Manchester has become Arsenal. I told you I don't know those football jargons.
But you know what usually happens is that, like, one, you can go on loan, you can be loaned.
But so let's say our people has been
so
loaned.
if you're loaned, you know, you have to play according to that team, you know. And another thing, you can be signed. If you signed to go and, as you say, they resigned from their political parties and went there to play. So as we speak today, the experts are members of UDA Kenya Kwanza. If the Kenya Kwanza fails, it fails with the 4 experts. That is true.
But I think, Nania, I think I saw an interview where Mheshimiwa Oparanya said that he wants to give it a try. He's also a skeptic like me. He said, I want to give it a try and see if the president will listen to our ideas, our ideologies, then it will. I think even Mheshimiwa Mbadi echoed those sentiments. He even said, he also said that he have ideas.
Yes.
And he has things in his head that he believes that can be used to even curb the runaway corruption in the judiciary. But he also mentioned that only if the president will be willing to allow them to work independently, to which, if that will not be possible, they will also decide not to, what is it called? They will decide to resign. I believe they said that.
Okay, so for avoidance of doubt, you said and tell us that ODM is not in government. So that is something
until maybe Baba said we are in government, but I don't think Baba said we are in government.
So if what about it?
Baba say we are in government.
Okay, and you know the reason why I usually try to bring leaders like you here, so that you can discuss and let people know, because with us our work is to bring you here and let the people know, convince the public that what you are thinking is not what is it. Like, if you're thinking we are in government, we are not in government. Our expert went and we are left here by ourselves. ODM is not in government. So our viewers could see, and even somebody who will be watching will also get convinced that you're not in government. So let's touch something about the nominee, especially like a nominated MCA, you know, in Kisumu. What are the challenges? You know, what are the challenges?
What I wanted to talk about, on the issue of nomination, especially myself, is that I feel that our people, like you are saying, number one, I want to appeal to NGOs. You know, when we were growing up, like I grew up in Kaloleni, there used to be so many NGOs. You know, when that girl child empowerment of girl child thing broke off, became a thing, even Western, what have you, there were so many NGOs that would voluntarily do education, girl child education, and what, even the civic education. So if there are any organizations out there, the people of Kenya, in general, we need civic education, including myself. We need civic education. We need political literacy. I believe that sometimes even going to school, Benson, is not enough. And I'm also included. We need political literacy so that our people understand the governance structures, what they're intended to do, how they're intended to work. With that said, I want also to talk about here in Kisumu, here in my ward, in Kaloleni ward, where I vied in 2022. And as fate would have it, my time had not reached. Tunasemanga Mwenyezi Mungu hakuwa amependa bado. So I did not go through, but there is another Mheshimiwa that went through, who we now call elected MCA. So we have elected and nominated MCA. In fact, in Kaloleni, in 2022, the most aspirants were women. And all of us were very strong women. So again, as fate would have it, 2 of us were nominated and 1 was elected. And I realized that most of our people don't understand, not that it's a bad thing not to understand, that there is a very sharp difference between a nominated MCA and an elected MCA. You know, constitutionally, nominated MCAs, as we belong to the party. It is
you belong to
you are party because maybe you're a hardcore party person like Mariam. The party has decided that if she didn't make it, she stands for our ideologies. Let us push her there, you know. So I was nominated after I divide, and I was nominated to represent something called marginalized community in Kisumu County. The marginalized community consists of non-Luos, those who are now the minority. In fact, we would say to represent minority groups. That includes the Muslim community where I come from. And I was not nominated for minority group in Kaleni Shorimo ward. I was nominated to represent minority groups in Kisumu County.
Yes.
Very different from our elected leader, who was legally elected to represent the people of Kaleni Shorimo ward.
So what is your role? What is your role?
That is where I'm going with this. So as a nominated MCA, number one, we don't get allocations to recommend or do projects, unlike our counterparts that are elected. Number two, we do not get scholarships, unlike our elected counterparts, that is their right. All of them, the 35 elected MCAs, all of them get the bursaries, they get the scholarships, they get the allocation. Every financial year, they get allocations to do some projects at the grassroots. The office of the MCA, the nominated MCA, does not have those advantages, because the only MCA amongst us that the government of Kenya acknowledges is the elected MCA. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this because, you know, sometimes people say, hajatengeneza barabara. Hii barabara ni mbaya lakini Mariam hajatengeneza. Mariam hawezi kutengeza barabara. My role at the assembly is to represent marginalized communities' interest in terms of legislation, representation. The other one would be oversight.
Now, and now let me ask you, because like you are allowed even to bring up a motion or a bill to Parliament to bring that to the county assembly. But have you tried, and what has been the result, or what has happened, or it has been rejected?
Bills, Benson. Yeah. Bills are not things that I just wake up and decide that, oh, I want men not to use this toilet, or I want this road to be called Mariam. Bills usually are things like, let me say, like one of the things that I'm working on currently. Yeah. I will not mention that. A bill is just something that perhaps is lacking in the county assembly governance structure. You know, like we can say that in Kisumu County, and the bills we sponsor are just bills that are confined within Kisumu County. It should also, our viewers and voters should be cognizant of that. So an example of a bill would be, like for me, I've been thinking that we have some laws within our Muslim community that are called Sharia law. But because Kenya is not an Islamic country, it's a secular country, it's a Christian secular country. Let me just say it's a secular country. You know, our Islamic Sharia laws, sometimes there is a very sharp difference with these other laws. But because the world is evolving, there was a time that our people were very, very conservative, that I would not be here talking to you, but we are evolving. True. So we've had bills or other Sharias that a child born out of wedlock does not have a right to the biological father's wealth. And as Mariam, while this is in the Sharia law, it is not in our constitution, secular constitution of Kenya, that any child has a right to a father's wealth and even child support. True. So I may decide, I'm just giving you an example of what bills are. I may decide today that I want to try and sponsor a bill that challenges the Sharia law, even though I wouldn't do that because that would be suicide for me as a Muslim girl, that wants to maybe try to implement this same thing. Because, by the way, denying a child born out of wedlock child support from the biological father is like you are punishing the child for the sins of the mother and the father. But I'm using this as an example. So such things I can do. They are within my jurisdiction in the assembly. So when we go to 2027 election, I plan to vie again, by the way.
Yeah.
And when I come back to vie when the time is right, judge me on these things that you're asking me. But don't say I did not build a school. Don't say that I did not build a road. I don't have the allocation don't have the power to initiate such projects.
And Mheshimiwa, that's why, like, if you remember, in the middle of our conversation, I told you there's something that we call political illiteracy.
Yes.
And the political illiteracy is as the leaders, or even talking about the public participation that you are talking about. At least it is high time that you, as a person coming from Shauri Moyo and representing the minority, the group that you are presenting, you need to have what we call them town halls. And when you have these town halls, these are places whereby you talk to your people and tell them that this is what is them. You know, one of the things that we also have to know, that what is the role of member of parliament, you know. And what is the role of the senator? What is the role of the MCA?
Of the women rep.
The women rep? Because something that has really has made us, even the political class, to take advantage of us is one.
Political illiteracy.
Yeah, the political illiteracy. And this I mean, for instance, we always believe that as a politician, you have to, when there's a funeral, you have to contribute. And if I fail to contribute, I'll not be elected. Yeah. And we've made the public to know that. And it has now become our responsibility that if I don't do that, the community will not love. It is good to help, but it should not be, mandatory. You hear that? So it is incumbent, the leaders, who should come up with proper legislation or proper ways in which we can start to educate our people. And even you talking about sponsoring, you know, sometimes you cannot sponsor a bill because you're a representative. What usually happened, I can have an idea as a resident of Kisumu, because me, I'm coming from Nyalenda B. I can go and confront James Were. Yeah. And I told Mheshimiwa.
Oh, James Were is your MCA?
Yeah, hapo.
That is Nyalenda A.
Pandpieri hapo, you know now.
Yeah. That's Nyalenda B.
Nyalenda B. Nyalenda A is this other side. So, nenda Jem namwambia bwana Were, this is what is happening. This is an idea that I have, that I feel we should enact a legislation, and this one will work. Then I'm explaining to him how it works. Or I'm going to his office. I know as an office, he should have maybe somebody who has somebody who has like law or legal framework on how can we make this, and how are we going to put it into the parliament. Then you also have to talk to the members of parliament and say, I hope if this one is passed, this one will help our community, you know. Because you're a representative. It's not that you have to come up with them, but I can come up with it and share with you the idea. Then you pick it. For instance, the idea of devolution that people do not know. There's somebody who came with the idea of devolution in Kenya was Crispin Odhiambo. Yeah. He had that idea of the devolution. Yeah. And
actually, his idea was the federal system.
Yeah.
The idea that Crispin Bai had, may God bless his soul and may he rest in peace, he brought in the federal system.
True.
And the federal system, that's why I say that our constitution is almost like a copy-paste of the Western Constitution, the US Constitution. And he shared it with other leaders like Baba. Then they actualized it. And I always say, and I'm saying, that since independence, the best thing that has happened to this country, politically speaking, was the 2010 Constitution. But even with the 2010 Constitution, Benson, there are still some loopholes. You know, when this thing, the angle that I feel has the big problem is this: the devolving of the funds to the counties, and also the clear-cut relationship between the executive, that would be the governor and his people, and the county assemblies. We still have so much that needs to be done, or rather tweaked, constitutionally speaking. And I think the first time I was here, we spoke about the runaway corruption, and I said that we would be very dishonest if we chastise those at the national government and call their corruption out without calling the corruption we are sitting on also. Yeah. And now we'll catch some thing from somebody, and I don't care at this point, because the truth shall set us free. Yeah. There is need. There is need to revisit, to review, to tweak some clauses in the devolution clause in terms of oversight. You know, like right now, I feel like there's a conflict of interest. Let me give you an example. Do you know that county assemblies are not autonomous financially?
Yeah, that's what I know.
Let me. That means if we have our allowances, if we have something we want to do, the person that gives us the green light or gives us the money to run the assembly is the executive. That happens to be the governor. So Benson, you tell me, in a country with a runaway corruption, right from the watchman to the top, if the MCS does not have financial autonomy, do you think they can properly oversight the governor?
They cannot, and there was something, a video also I did about the devolution, and what I said about the devolution was a very good idea, but the political class were far much ahead of the Kenyan people. They knew what they wanted, and they focus on what is going to benefit them, but not what is going to benefit Kenyans.
The people. Then we also have some excessive powers in our counties, both at the executive and the assemblies. Yeah. You know, when I say the excesses, it may sound like something minute, but they're not minute, because we already know that political power corrupts people. Yeah. And in an inherently corrupt country like ours, I'm not talking about Kisumu County, I'm talking about Kenya as a country. There are some powers you don't give one person. There are some powers you do not give 1 or 2, 3 people, in my humble opinion. The little time I've been in the assembly, and this one I also want to share with the people of Kaleni Sharumo, the people of Kisumu County. You know, I realized that I could be wrong, but my experience, I've realized that in Kisumu County, we have 47 MCAs. Yep. We have the 35 elected MCAs because we have 35 wards. Then there's the 12 of us that were specially elected by our political parties. And what I've learned is that for an assembly to be functional and perform its duties the way the Constitution intended, it needs something called cohesion among the MCAs, all of them. There's need for to be, what I don't know what to, there's need for me, for assuming I was the MCA for Kaloleni, there's need for me to be able to mesh in ideologically with MC of Kondele, with MC of Manyata, all of us. But if I'm Mariam, an individual with my own ideologies, then there is Mary, an MCA for somewhere also, and our ideas cannot sync. They cannot be in sync with each other. The assembly becomes dysfunctional. And when it becomes dysfunctional, the people that suffer are the voters. So I want to appeal to voters today. God is going to give us another chance. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about Mariam Abedi and the Kisumu and the people of Kisumu County. Yes. God will give us another chance in 2027, inshallah, to be able to now take note of what the leaders we currently have done, and even to vote in other leaders. I pray and I ask the people of Kisumu County, in 2027, let us vote for leadership. Don't vote for somebody because they look like you. Don't vote for somebody because you have been told, awa ni wale chotara wa Kaloleni, sio wetu. Don't do that, because bad leadership does not know that wewe si chotara kama Mariam. Bad leadership does not know that wewe ni mtu mzuri. that meant well with your vote.
But Mariam,
and sometimes you don't have to like your leaders. You just have to vote in people with the ability to lead. And the ability to lead goes hand in hand with ethnic and integrity.
Sasa Mariam, unajua mimi ni mkazi wa Kisumu na mimi nimeongea na baadhi ya maviongozi wengi sana wadogo ambao wanachipukia sana, ambao pia wanaelewa shida ambao watu wanapitia. Lakini kitu ambacho kinasababisha hawa watu wasichaguliwe ni siasa ambao sisi tunapiga. Unajua sisi hatupigi siasa ya sera na maadili. Sisi tunapiga siasa, ya unafiki na tuseme kwamba leo walikuona umeongea na nani, ule nani anataka kutuangusha, ule nani ni kama ametumwa. Unapata kama kiongozi bora hawezi chaguliwa kwa sababu labda aliongea na mtu ambaye ana wazo na fikiria tofauti na yeye. Na sasa inafika mahali maviongozi wengi inabidi akuwe katika mrengo fulani, si kwa sababu anapenda, lakini kwa sababu akitoka ama akionekana na mtu fulani hatapata kura. Na hiyo ndio bado itatukosesha maviongozi bora. Hiyo ni ya kwanza. Ya pili ni unapata kama hakuna demokrasia kwa chama ambazo sisi tuko nazo. Kama tungekuwa na demokrasia kwa chama ambao tuko nazo, ambapo kama wanataka kuchagua waangalie huyu ni nani bora, wewe uko na sera na wewe ni mtu ambaye anaweza leta mabadiliko katika maisha ya watu ambao wanaenda kumchagua. Uangalie. Hawaangalii familia yako koje, waangalii uko na pesa ngapi. Bas, hiyo tukifika hiyo siku, bas tutachagua viongozi ambao watatutetea na watatufanyia kazi.
Sasa that one Benson, hiyo inaanza na mimi na wewe. You know, I know when you say that there's a party problem. Indeed, there is a party problem. I'm the controversial Mariam, I'll just say. But, you know, sometimes in life, Benson, when you expect, even in a family, in a house, when you expect your children to behave a certain way, but they don't, you can switch the table on them so that they see the need for you as their parent to do things that they want. And in this case, you know, when we always talk about the deception that happens during our party primaries, but for me, I'm still insisting. Indeed, we still have bad apples within our political parties. The bad apples are there. Some of them are now beginning to stretch. By 2026 is when they wake up. Even when we have demonstrations, we don't see them. But when the party primary is near us, they wanaanza kujiposition with their own people. And because of that corruptive role of money. What we can do, because Mimi, I still insist that ODM is our party. We can turn the tables on the party. How do we turn the tables? We insist, Benson, if we vote for Benson, for Kalen Shormo Ward, and somebody announces Mariam, and we know with utmost certainty that we voted for Mariam, for Benson, and we know that Benson have the integrity and ability to lead the people of Kaloleni. ODM has channels, even though sometimes they're not functional, but the fact remains that they're channels. And there's a way to send a message that even our party leader tends to listen to. Let me give you an example. In 2017, there's a man used to call Duk Duk. Somebody else was announced, the holder of the former Kisumu Central MP. I think it was called someone, I don't want to mention, I don't want to die.
I know him.
He was announced. But the people of Kisumu Central believe that they voted for Duk Duk. Do you know what happened? And you know, in 2017 election, was it 2017 or 2013?
2017.
When Oda was the MPS, 2017. 2017. You know, 2017, our party leader was very busy at the top there. He was running his election in Tulishinda hiyo. So you know what the people of Kisumu Central did? They took to the streets. They demonstrated until Baba saw news. And Baba asked, nini nafanyika Kisumu? What is happening at then? Baba was told that these people are saying that their guy won, but the party certificate went to so and so. You know what Baba did? Baba made phone call and said he wants to know the actual results of who won. And this guy was given back his certificates. So sometimes it is up to us to teach our party how to treat us.
No,
a bad apple gives the wrong person the certificate when you know this person has won. Take to the streets and tell the party leader, ask what is going on.
So it is, and that's why I was telling you, if you could have been listening to me, I tell you that it is now upon the responsibility of you as a leader to educate the people that you want to lead, and tell them that if not, because if at all everybody could have been protesting if they feel the right person has never, the right person has not been given to them, these people could have been getting. But what usually happens, immediately the wrong person has been given certificate, the people will say, okay, it is that.
That is where civic education now comes in.
Yes, so that
the
is
political
also
literacy.
Yeah, that is what now. Mariam,
but I believe this will change for the better going forward. Can we talk about Aoko before we go?
What did Maverick do?
Maverick, let me tell you, there was that Maverick is in my humble opinion.
Yeah,
I feel like she's a cry for help.
Why?
And have you seen the things she even says about herself? And you know, in this country, I realize that we like playing holier than thou.
Yeah.
Then usually there's this thing I say about myself. I like saying that Islam saved me from myself. You know, when I wear this thing, people think I'm just wearing it because I want to impress my dad. But I always say that what people don't know behind me embracing religion, it saved me from myself.
Yeah.
So there are so many people who used to be a cry for help, like Aoko. But because we live in a society where people like to pretend, they look at Aoko, and because perhaps the things she says about herself, especially when it comes to promiscuity, people want to say that she's a dirty person, she's a bad girl. I did not have a problem with promiscuity, but I struggled growing up with the identity issue. Today I can talk about it because it's my testament. It's my testament. It's one of those things I can say that God did for me.
Yeah.
I told you that I was born in a very conservative Muslim family to an Arab father and a Luo mother. When my mother died and my father remarried, I remained in the hands of my mother's elder sister and her mother. So when schools closed, I would go to my father's place. When schools are open, I would come to my mother's side of the family. You see those sharp cultural differences?
Yeah.
Then with the time, I leaned towards the lower side. Remember, in my mother's side of the family, people are Christians, conservative, not just Christians, conservative Christians. So as Mariam, I grew up with identity issues. And those identity issues, sometimes you manifest them in a very bad way that hurts yourself. So when I say that Aoko is a cry for help, and people should not insult her because she says she slept with I don't know who and who. I don't condone sex out of wedlock, by the way. That is just me. Not that I'm a good person. I just believe that people should not have sex out of wedlock or sleep with married people.
Yeah.
With that out of the way, can we help Aoko? Instead of calling her names, instead of calling her prostitute, instead of calling her bad girl, can we? She's one of our own. She comes from Nyanza. And can President Ruto talk to his police? There are people that don't need to be arrested. There are people that need help. If you hear the things Aoko say, you know, I watched an interview where she cried. She was literally crying. And she was mentioning the name of a few prominent Kenyans in very big, powerful places that she felt that took advantage of her when she was a young, gullible girl. And she even talked about her family background, where she said that she had issues because her family was a big family that she felt also neglected. And I think the marital breakdown of her mother and father also affected us. Those things affect people, Benson. Those things affect people.
But yes, but like you know, I think you know, I've hosted Aoko here. Yeah. And we had a
very
conversation.
smart girl, very brilliant.
we had a very nice conversation with her, and she's a friend of mine. We talk.
She's a nice lady that needs to be given a job, not called out of her name.
But now, now I think the best way that, you are in the leadership, so what can you do?
Okay, I am in the leadership, but I'm not in a position to give somebody a job. So what I wanted to say were two things.
Yeah.
This show, when I come here, I'm not bragging. A lot of people watch it because they want to hear what I was saying about our party position.
Yeah.
So our people who are watching this show, those who will watch it, Aoko ni mmoja wetu. She come, and she's a very smart girl, intellectually speaking. Instead of bullying her online, instead of calling her out of her name, can someone give this girl a job? Because she's a smart person and fairly educated. That is the plea I want to give to the people of Luo Nyanza. And before I forget about the people of Luo Nyanza, I also wanted to talk to Mheshimiwa Mbadi, Mheshimiwa Wandai. And I don't know whether you have a problem with me speaking in Luo. There's something I want to say in Luo.
Yeah, what's that?
Our John Mbadi, Wandai, that for the longest time, Pokwabetka in proper position of power, at least from handshake, Mkatinusu Markibaki Gibaba. Udonje serikal, offices sugo, meuru yuthe wa teach. Meuru jo luo teach office ugo. Forget big English jargons and yellow from Mount Kenya. Give Luo youths job. I want to give them first priority.
Okay. All right, Kiongozi, thank you so much. It has been 2 hours having you on the show. We usually appreciate you, and we usually thank you for coming on the show, especially to talk about the issues of Kisumu and the issues of Shauri Moyo, where you will be vying for. I know when I get chance, I will visit those areas and do a little bit of documentary, because that is a place I know that place. So many of my friends I have. Your competitor Adede Sheshe is your competitor.
Yes, a very good guy.
That is my good friend. I usually talk to all those young leaders of Kisumu. They are my friends, and Kisumu is like a home to all of us. Kisumu has really made us who we are. So let me take this opportunity, and I want to thank the following. Annie, thank you so much. WS Banker, thank you. Annie, I will talk to Maverick. I will bring him on the show. I brought him the other day. I've hosted her. Ndaongea na yeye tena nisikie kama anaweza kuja tuongee tena. Ndajaribu kuongea na yeye. Bem, thank you so much. And also, thank you so much for your time, and may God bless you. And now I think it is high time we end the show. And thank you everyone who has been there for your support. We thank you so much, and may God bless you big time.
Be blessed too, thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Have a good time in Kisumu.
Thank you.